Welcome back. Today we're going to be dividing multi-digit numbers. So you are going to need to have page 18 and page 16 pulled out of your math journal. That way you can fill it out and write on a nice flat surface so that you can fill this out with me. All right, so today I will be able to, in this blank, I want you to write divide. I will be able to divide multi-digit dividends by multi-digit divisors. I will use my skills to estimate a quotient, divide correctly, and also check my quotient by multiplying. A division. All right, so vocabulary for this lesson: division, dividend, divisor, quotient, remainder, and compatible numbers. So, and every time we do these lessons, we're going to fill out or reference these vocabulary words. So, this is where page 16 comes in. So this is all of the vocabulary for chapter 1. But we're only going to worry about the vocabulary words lesson for that day. So division was the first word we were given. So division is to separate into equally sized parts or groups. So let's write equally sized. All right, the dividend. The dividend is the blank that is being blank. That is being divided. So in that case, it says circle the dividend in each example below. So these are 4 different ways we could write division. Okay, 18 is being divided up. In this one, 18 is being divided. So the dividend is the one that goes inside the box, or it's the first one when we write this division sign. What about in this kind? The one being divided is the one on top of the fraction. This is another way that you could write division. So 18 is the dividend in all of these examples. Okay, now the divisor. The divisor is the blank that is doing the blank. That is doing the dividing. So circle the divisor in each example below. Which one is doing the dividing? 3. You're dividing by 3. In this one, you're dividing by 3. In the fraction, it's 18 divided by 3. Same here. So if you're ever in question which one's doing the dividing, you can reference this later. Okay, the next word we were going to cover is quotient. The quotient is the blank to a blank problem. It is the answer to a division problem. So, what is the quotient to 18 divided by 3? That would be 6. So your quotient is the answer that you get. Okay, now compatible number, remainder. Okay, the remainder is the blank left over after blank. So it's the amount left over after dividing. So this one in evenly, the quotient was 6, there was 0 remainder. If you ever have any left over, that's your remainder. Okay, compatible numbers. When estimating division, let's write that in there. When estimating division, choose numbers that work well together after rounding the divisor. Okay, that was all of our vocabulary for this lesson. So anytime we are talking about those things, now you can look back and remember what they are. Go ahead and go back to page 18. Okay, we have an example. It says example 1, 29,184 divided by 76. If we're going to estimate, the whole point of estimating is picking something that's easy for us to do in our heads. So I want to round the divisor first and then pick something that goes really well with it. So if I'm looking at 76, an easy number to work with would be 80. If I round that up to 80, it's close, but 80 will be a lot easier to work with. Now, I need something that is a multiple of 8 that's going to be close to 29,184. So if I'm estimating, let's count by 8s. 8, 16, 16 isn't close to 29. 24, well, that's fairly close. What's after 24? 32. I think 32 would be closer than 24. So I'm going to round this to 32,000. So I'm going to round this to 32 and make these all zeros. So just for estimation's sake, I divide 32,000 by 80. Okay, let's remember our trick. If we're dividing by a multiple of 10, and this ends in zeros as well, we can cancel off the zero, make it just a little easier. For 200 by 8. So 8 goes into 32 4 times, and that leaves us with 2 zeros afterwards. So my answer is going to be somewhere near 400. The whole reason we estimate is just to make sure that when we get an answer, we know we're in the ballpark. If my answer is way far away from 400, then I know I haven't done something correctly. All right, over here we're going to do the actual division. So this is the dividend. I'm going to write it inside the division box. 29184. And then my divisor is 76. All right, so we first need to place value. So what I like to do is I start by only looking at that first place value and making a decision. Can I pull 76 out of 2? I cannot. So I can either write a 0, because 76 goes into 2 0 times, or I can write an X, just saying I can't go into it yet. So now I'm going to go to the next place value. So I couldn't go into the 10,000ths place, but maybe I can go into the thousands place. Well, 76 squeeze out of 29. Nope, 76 is still too big, so that means I'm going to the next place value. Can I squeeze 76 out of 291? Yes, there's enough that I can do it now. So this is where estimating helps. So if I'm saying 80, and I'm trying to figure out how many groups of 80 I could pull out of that, if I count by 8s, 8, 16, 24, then 32, maybe 3 or 4. I'm going to try 3 and see if it's low first. So over here, let's do 76 times 3 and see what we get. So 3 times 6 is 18. Regroup 1. 3 times 7 is 21, plus the one that we kept up here. So 21 plus 1 would be 22. Now, that's 3 times. I'm not sure that looks like I might even be able to get another 76 out of that. So let's see if we can do 4 times. I'm just going to add on another 76. Sometimes it's easier than just doing 76 times 4. You could do 76 times 4 over here as well, but realize I'm just adding one more to see if 4 times would work. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Regroup 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. 0, regroup 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, that's really close, but that's too much. So 3 was right. So let's stick with that. So 3 goes here. 3 times 76. We're going to pull out 228 pieces out of these place values. All right, now we have to subtract that out. 1 minus 8 I can't do, so I'm going to borrow. This is going to turn into 8, and I'm going to regroup to the here. Now this is 11. 11 minus 8 would give me 3. 8 minus 2 gives me 6. And 2 minus 2 gives me 0. So I'm left with 63 in the hundreds place. So I pulled out all the hundreds that I could. Now I'm going to change into the next place value. So now I'm looking here, and I'm going to bring down the 8. So now I'm looking at 638 tens. So let's use our estimating skills again to decide. If 80 was what I was estimating with, I can figure out about how many groups of that would fit out of 638. So 8, 16, I'm looking close to 63. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. Okay, 56 is pretty close. 56, 64. Ooh. Since this is higher than 76, 8 might work. So let's try 75. We can minus the 76 and see if 7 is a better choice. So 76 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So we're going to put an 8 here and regroup 4. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 4 more would be 60. Can I pull 608 out of 638? I can. So I'm going to put 8 up here. 8 times 76 was 608, so let's subtract that. 8 minus 8 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 6 minus 6 is 0, so I'm not going to fill that one in. So I have 30 tens left over that I wasn't able to divide out. So we're going to regroup into ones. So let's bring that 4 down here. So now in this place value, I have 304 ones. We're going to try and decide how many groups of 76 that could be. Luckily, we've already done the math. How did we get this? We did 76 times 3, and then added another 76. So this is times 4. So 4 groups of 76 is perfectly 304. So let's put a 4 up here. 4 times 76 is 304. That gives me 0 here, 0 here, and 0 here. We have no remainder. Okay, so we think our answer is 384. Let's check. So over here, let's do 384 times 76, and we are checking to see if we're correct. So 6 times 4 is 24. Regroup 2. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 2 is 50. So we put a 0 here. 5. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 5 more is 23. Okay, we're done with the ones place. I like to cross it off just so I remember I've already done that. Now because of that, we're moving to the tens place. That means we will have no ones. So put a placeholder 0 there. I'm not going to get any ones out of this multiplication. So 7 tens times 4 would give me 28. So I'm going to put an 8 here and regroup 2. So there's a 2 for this time. 7 times 8 is 56. Plus 2 more is 58. So I'm going to put a 0 here. Or not a 0, a 5. So we have 58. 3 times 7 is 21. And 21 plus 5 would be 26. Okay, so we've multiplied the ones. This is where we got this. We multiplied by the tens. That's where we got this. Now all together we add it up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. So I write a 1 here. Regroup 1 in the thousands place. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. And 2. This matches my original number. That tells me that my math is correct, and 384 is the correct answer. So 29,184 divided by 76 is 384. All right, we have one more example to work through. Okay, it says a tour bus can fit 135 people. You are in charge of organizing buses for a tour company. A large tour group from England has asked you to arrange enough buses for their group of 2,931 people. How many buses do you need? Okay, so that means I'm splitting this. The original problem would be 2, 9, 3, 1. So 2,931, and we're trying to divide them up into buses that have 135 people. So if I'm estimating, I want to turn this into something that is easy for me to work with. So I'm going to say, well, it'd be easy for me to work with 150. Now what is something that 150 goes in well that's close to 2,931? Well, if I'm looking at just 15, I could do 30. So if I made this 30 with 2 zeros, 3,000, 150 will go into 3,000. So this will give me a close idea of how many buses we're going to need. Okay, remember, and this also has just zeros. You can cancel off, so you're doing 300 divided by 15 instead. Okay. 15 will go into 30 twice, so this would be about 20. So we're going to need to order about 20 buses. All right, now we're going to do the math. 2,931, and we're dividing it by 135. All right, we know our answer is about 20. So, will 135 squeeze into the first place value? I cannot go into the thousands place, so I'm going to put an X above it. Okay, can I go into the hundreds place? Can I squeeze 135 out of 29? I cannot, so I'm going to put another X. Can I squeeze 135 out of 293? I can. Now this is where we're going to guess about how many times. I'm guessing about 2 based on our estimate. So let's do 135 times 2 and see what we get. 2 times 5 is 10, regroup 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 1 is 2. So 135 times 2 is 270. That looks pretty close, so I'm going to put a 2 here. And we can minus 270 from here. 3 minus 0 is 3. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So we're left with 23 tens. Now we're going to regroup to 1, so bring down that 1. Now we have 231 ones. Okay, we know 2 is too much because we've already done this math. To find that would be 270. So I know 1's going to go right here because 1 times 135 is 135. So let's subtract 135. 1 minus 5 I cannot do, so I'm going to regroup. So this would become 2, and this will be 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 2 minus 3, I can't do. I can, so this is 9. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 96, but I am done with my place values. So 21 buses is what we have, and we have a remainder of 96. So our answer for this would be 21, remainder 96. So how many buses do we need? Actually, let's check and make sure our answer works before we go any farther. So we're saying 21 times 135. So 21 times 135. Let's see what we get. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Now I'm going from the ones to the tens. That means I will get 0 ones, so I'm putting a 0 placeholder here. 2 times 5 is 10. Regroup 1. 2 times 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is 2. So we add that up. We have 5, 3, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 2. Wait, that's not the same answer. That's because we have to factor in that remainder. Remember how we had 96 still hanging out? So we got to add that 96 back on and make sure we have the original number. So 5 plus 6 is 11. Regroup 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. Regroup 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 2. All right, that and that are the exact same number. That means we've done our math correctly. But how many buses are we going to need? If you write 21 buses, there's a problem with that. Don't you want everybody to go with you on the tour? Or are we going to leave 96 people waiting at the bus stop? Cases in real life, you have to take into account that your remainder, you're going to have to round up for our answer because these 96 people, they just won't fill up a bus, but you still need a bus for them. So how many buses are you going to need? 22. Why? Because 21 buses will be full. Plus 1 more for the extra 96 people. Okay? Now, I want you to rate yourself on this concept. 0 meaning I still don't get it at all. 1 meaning I get it, but I think I'm going to need a lot of help. 2, I think I'm about there with some practice. 3, I'm doing really well, but I might make mistakes. And 4, I've got this perfectly. I want you to circle that and make sure you get a picture so that I can see all of this and turn it in on Google Classroom.